Rob, a while ago, maybe a year ago, I can't remember exactly how long ago this first came up, but we found out about this story that a couple of movie fans decided to rent the movie yesterday. A really delightful little film about a musician who, what happened? He get hit by a bus, hit by lightning, I can't remember. But he wakes up and the world is exactly the same, except the Beatles never existed. And he's the only one who remembers the Beatles. Now, in the trailers for yesterday is a shot of Ana de Armas. A couple of shots, actually, of Ana de Armas. Big movie star now. She's, of course, coming up in the John Wick spin-off movie Ballerina. She was just in the last James Bond film. She stars in Blonde this year. I mean, very, very hot actress right now. Her career is really hot right now. And these guys thought, well, we're big Ana de Armas fans, so we're going to get this movie. Only to find out as they watch the movie, that Ana de Armas isn't in it. She's not in the movie. And so they filed a lawsuit. Now, we talked about this about a year ago.
Yep.
Well, now what happened is these court cases can take a while. The studio representing the movie filed a motion to dismiss. Basically, they filed a motion to say, look, this case should just be thrown out. Trailers are art. It's interpretive art and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, the judge has now ruled on that motion. And it did not go the studio's way.
Nope.
And this, if you don't realize how big this is, buckle up because this is big. The judge ruled that, yeah, you're damn right, that consumers can sue a studio for misleading trailers. They can sue for it. Now, this comes to us, you forgive me if I read this a little bit at length, but this is like really key stuff. As somebody who made a documentary about movie trailers, and an entire chapter on my documentary about movie trailers is about misleading trailers. This is fascinating. This comes to us from Variety, who wrote the following. Movie studios can be sued under false advertising laws if they release deceptive movie trailers, a federal judge ruled on Tuesday. The U.S. District Judge Stephen Wilson issued a ruling in the case involving Yesterday, the 2019 film about the world without the Beatles. Two Ana de Armas fans filed lawsuit in January, so it was about a year ago, alleging that they had rented the movie after seeing Ana de Armas in the trailer, only to discover that she was cut out of the film. Universal sought to throw out the lawsuit, arguing that movie trailers are entitled to broad protection under the First Amendment. The studio's lawyers argued that trailers are an artistic, expressive work that tells a 3-minute story conveying the theme of the movie and should thus be considered non-commercial speech. Now, a couple things to keep in mind here. We might be saying that, hey, a lot of trailers come out that have footage in it that maybe was intended to be in the movie, but later that got cut out. That happens, right? Well, one of the things that these guys as lawyers argued, and it's something that I brought up back in January, was, well, yeah, that explains that, but they continue to have that in the trailer today. Maybe today they changed it, but back when the lawsuit was filed, it's like, she's still in the trailer today. Now that it's out of the theaters, on Amazon, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but Judge Wilson rejected that argument, finding that a trailer is commercial speech and is subject to the California false advertising law under the state's unfair competition law. This is where it gets kind of spicy. Universal is correct. This is the judge speaking. Universal is correct that trailers involve some creative and editorial discretion, but this creativity does not outweigh the commercial nature of a trailer, Wilson wrote. At its core, a trailer is an advertisement designed to sell a movie by providing consumers with a preview of that product or movie. In their briefing on the issue, Universal lawyers argued that movie trailers have long included clips that do not appear in the finished film. They cited Jurassic Park, another Universal film, which had a trailer comprised entirely of footage that was not in the movie. Okay, so here's the thing. I agree that there is an art to making trailers. Trailers are in and of themselves a piece of art. I don't deny that or dispute that. But they are also, you cannot deny, I often refer to trailers as commercials. They're commercials. Just like a commercial for Dumb Pig, just like a commercial for Aviation Gin, just like a commercial for anything. You have a product that you want consumers to buy, and so you market to them. That's called a commercial. It's a unique kind of commercial for sure, but it's a commercial. Now, some people have brought up the specter of, well, what does this mean? Does this mean that any time that, wait a minute, this trailer made it look like the movie was funny, and it's not funny, I get to sue you? That's artistic interpretation. The difference between this situation with yesterday is that there is a straight up non-interpretive objective fact being presented. Ana de Armas is in this movie. Not, did this movie look more like an action film? That's interpretive art. Not, did this movie look like it was funny, but I don't consider it funny? That's interpretive. What the judge is basically ruling here is that, guys, you have a piece of marketing in your advertisements to consumers, an objective fact. The movie star Ana de Armas is in this movie. Now, then again, it could come up a question about how much of the movie is she in? Does she play a predominant role? That becomes interpretive. But it's not interpretive to say their commercial said Ana de Armas is in this movie, and she's not. And we paid money to rent this movie and set aside a couple of hours to sit down and watch this movie because we're Ana de Armas fans and we thought she was in this movie and she's not. So what I don't think the judge has ruled here, Rob, and it would be great to have Brooke here because Brooke is a working lawyer right now. But what I don't think the judge is saying here is that, hey, if a movie didn't turn out to be kind of what it looked like it was going to be, then you can sue the studio for that. Because again, that's interpretive. But he is saying when you cross a line, when you literally put, like if I'm going to go watch a movie called, I don't know, Dumb Pig, right? And in the Dumb Pig trailer, I put some footage of Tom Cruise, doing his Tom Cruise smile, right? Well, Tom Cruise isn't in my movie. That's not interpretive. That is an objective fact I am stating that Tom Cruise is in my movie, and if he's not, then that's false advertising, and you can be sued. Back in January, I said, I believe this case has merit because as a commercial, you have straight up told the consumer that if you pay us your money, we're going to give you this, and you don't. And again, this is different from, well, there was a scene in the movie that got removed, or it looked like it was going to be an action thing, or it looked like it was going to be. This is all interpretive. They said that Ana de Armas was in it, and she's not. Rob, I am not surprised at all that the judge ruled this way. And you know what? I think they're going to win. And when they win, it's going to make studios and trailer houses have to relook. Again, you can still be artistic. You can still do all that kind of stuff, but you can't straight up lie to the audience about. Hey guys, we want to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of this video, DraftKings. This time of year, everyone's excited for the holiday spirit, but what about all the basketball? When it's time to throw down on the NBA action, it's gotta be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pregame moneyline on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same game parlays. Just download the DraftKings app, use the code CAMPEA, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win, and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code CAMPEA only at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gaming resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonuses issued as free bets. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. So anyway, Rob, you look at this. How do you interpret it?
Okay, here's the thing. There have been trailers that have been made for movies that have, like they said with Jurassic Park, like in your own documentary, Alfred Hitchcock, his trailers for The Birds, his trailers for Psycho. In the trailer for the very famous trailer for Psycho, he gives you a tour of the Bates Motel and the surrounding areas,
Isn't that like a 7-minute trailer?
Yeah.
Like
And he's like, the
7-minute trailer.
bathroom,
Yeah.
you know, and it's clear when you watch that trailer, this isn't part of the movie. The first movie I ever worked on, Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, has a teaser trailer that is a riff on Excalibur, where you see instead of the Lady of the Lake holding up Excalibur, she holds up a giant chainsaw, you know, and then Leatherface grabs it. None of that is in the movie. I don't think anybody that's ever watching these teaser trailers necessarily, and they're called teasers, expects that footage to be in the movie. And here's the thing. I'm sure at one point in the edit of yesterday, when that trailer was made, the Ana de Armas scene was in the movie. And as we read about, I think it was Danny Boyle who directed it, they removed that sequence because they realized late in the creative process that takes away from the main character's relationship with Lily James, and they wanted to change that. Movies are an iterative process, and trailers now are made 6 months before the films come out.
Yeah, before the final cut is done.
Movies are still in process of being made. I think ultimately what they're going to have to do is there's probably going to wind up being a disclaimer at the end of the trailer that says all scenes contained in this advertisement, this commercial, whatever, may not appear in the final film. That's all they have to do. And that's new language we haven't seen on trailers, because how often trailers are designed, especially, and people brought up the Marvel movies. Frequently, they will literally change shots, like in Spider-Man No Way Home, so you can't see that it's Spider-Man kicking the lizard. They'll take the Spider-Man out.
Yeah.
So they don't want people to know. So I think the lawyers that were arguing on the studio's behalf did a kind of a shitty job, because what they were trying to do is they should have immediately said, you're right, it's commercial speech. That's what it is. Like you said, it's a commercial. You can't sit there and call it anything but that. It is a commercial for the movie. It exists to sell the movie to the consumer. That's why anybody would have said that. However, they should have gone and said, it has never been ever stated by the studios that the trailers that we're showing you guarantee you to get everything that you see in the trailer. There is a long history, probably decades long, where you could show examples of trailers and things where there were scenes. I can name a dozen right now that have scenes that were not in the final film. There is a much longer precedent-setting history of trailers to exist that don't always deliver scenes. That there's scenes in trailers that were not in the final movie.
Rogue One is a great example of that.
Rogue One, the TIE fighter shot.
Several shots.
I mean, there are shots in movies all the way back 50, 100 years. And they should have argued from that perspective, that anybody that thinks that was a mistake on that person's behalf. And also, they released the Ana de Armas scene on the home video. You can see it as a special feature. The lawyers were trying to play semantics games and lost. And by the way, they should have. That was a dumb argument to make, to try and be like, this isn't commercial speech. Yeah, it is. It's commercial speech. And you tried to make it about something not that. Why didn't you just delve into the history of trailers and build your defense that way? That was a dumb move, and they deserve to lose. And like you said, those people will probably win, and deservedly so.
This is an interesting paragraph in this coming from the court, because this goes to something you were just saying a second ago about what would a reasonable audience member think watching it, right? They wrote this: the court's holding is limited to representations as to whether an actress or scene in the movie and nothing else. The judge wrote, holding that based on the yesterday trailer, it was reasonable that viewers would expect that Ana de Armas would have a significant role in the film. Because, I mean, all the pictures that Jonathan's bringing up, see, like, because if I saw Ana de Armas in something, I'm interested in watching it.
Oh, yes.
And to say straight up, so like something like the Hulk in the Infinity War thing running with the Avengers. Well, Hulk is in the movie. They are in Wakanda. Captain America is in the movie. Like maybe that particular sequence doesn't happen, but it's not like Marvel put out the trailer for Infinity War and running beside Hulk and Captain America and Black Widow, Superman flies in as well.
Yes.
That would be the thing, right? If they showed Superman flying beside them and then you go to the theater and say, there is no Superman in this movie, the judge is saying under that circumstance, you are cheating the audience. You are duping them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see. Now, again, if they are very, very clear on how they rule this, again, I don't think we're going to see how trailers are made change all that much. Because Rob, I'll be honest with you, I'm having a really difficult time off the top of my head thinking of another scenario that is likened unto this Ana de Armas one. Like, I mean, maybe Anthony Hopkins isn't in Mission Impossible 2 very much, but he is there, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to think of I don't know if any of you guys or any of you guys in the live chat can think of another one like this.
I'd have to do some research, but I bet there's examples of trailers where actors are in what about All the Money in the World?
But they changed the trailers for that.
Well, they
right?
did. Yes, they did.
The trailers changed. They didn't change the trailers for yesterday, right? So they changed the trailers to the ones with the great Canadian kid, Christopher Plummer,
right,
instead of Kevin Spacey. So, but that would have been a perfect example.
Yeah, but the thing is, they already had trailers out for Kevin Spacey. It's not like, and you might have changed the trailers to put Christopher Plummer in there, but there's still trailers that existed with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, but they did their due diligence.
Yeah,
by
they did change it, but
it's
still. I mean,
and again, I still see people in that show. Well, what about Hulk in Infinity? Hulk is in Infinity War.
Yeah, Hulk isn't yet. Right.
He's in Infinity War.
See, I think you make the important distinction. The fact is, Ana de Armas is not in yesterday.
Yeah.
She's not in the movie.
And the trailer tells you she is.
Right. Exactly. And that's where they ran into trouble.
This could get really interesting. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? A court has ruled that says, hey, studios, you can't just F the consumers. You can't tell them Superman is going to be Infinity War and he's not there. You can't tell them Ana de Armas is in this movie and she's not there. Do you think that could have a profound impact on how they do trailers? Could this become a slippery slope where maybe the next lawsuit is a little bit looser? I mean, I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.